Hey man, so how do you like my new hat? You look absolutely ridiculous. Oh, come on, it can't be that bad. Okay, let me put it this way. This looks worse than Victor Ras taking a penalty shot. Okay, that was just rude. What's up guys, welcome to today's video where the Minnesota Wild lost in a shootout to the Buffalo Sabres. And also, I should probably stretch that I tried to record the Blackhawks video where we also lost, this time in overtime, to the Blackhawks. But that file corrupted, something happened to it in the editing process. So I lost the file, and because I'm moving at the moment, my room is a mess right now, but because I'm moving, I don't have the time to reshoot it with uni starting and everything else. So that video is lost for the oblivion of YouTube or whatever happened to that file. However, I will say like a few words on that game. I do think it's too bad that Ryan Suter took the penalty because I think we made a good comeback. We got a pity point that we probably shouldn't have had. I don't think we played particularly well. And I don't think you can blame Stalock for that game, even though there was a few shots he probably should have had. There was also a few really good saves that I think he redeemed himself on, but he did make some saves that he redeemed himself on, in my opinion anyway. So I don't think we should blame Stalock for that loss. We lost a point, but we gained a point as well. We only lost one at home, which is fine in my opinion. Here comes the difficult part. We lost to the Buffalo Sabres away from home. That happens sometimes, fair enough. However, Mikko Koivu is out, and on the top of Dumba being out, that is absolutely horrible, because now we are in a situation where we have a center call, which is Eric Stahl, Victor Rask. And all I can say is, Victor Rask played really well, in my opinion, for the last two games. Against the Blackhawks, he got a goal, really big goal, massive celebration, yeah, and I think he generally played really well in that game. Comes out against the Sabres, does the same, gets a good assist on the first goal we get, and I think he plays really well until he has to take a penalty shot, which I will get to later. However, having him as our second center was never the plan, and I generally think that was not ideal. We were having him as a strong third-line center to pair up with Greenway and maybe Pontus Aberg. That was probably the plan, but we lose this Koivu, means that he has to move up. We have lost Aberg, which means that we need to kind of bring up Kunin again, and then we have lost Dumba for the rest of the season, it seems. So now we look at Prosser. Basically, the situation is weird right now because we have some center depth. I guess we could put Eriksson Ek in there, but he has not convinced me yet. We could put Matt Hendricks, who I don't think has played really well either. We have a few core players who I think could do alright, but then we have a bit of a lack of depth, in my opinion, at the moment. I think we have been hurt a little bit, and we have been forced to use depth, which we don't really have at this point. Also, we come away with a loss in this game, but we come away with another pity point, or whatever you want to call it. This one felt more like a pity point because, again, we scored right in the depth of the game. I think Zach Parise gets a goal with like 1 minute left. Good goal, good tenacity. We deserved the goal, I think. I think we played a really good game in the last third of the game. We played an atrocious first half. That was absolute garbage fire. But in the second half, I actually think we came back, showed some morale, showed some character to come back and actually tie the game, and we also had a few chances to win the game. However, we are so inept on 2-on-1s, which again costed us. I think we had like one or two really good chances and really good looks in the last few minutes of the game. We just didn't score. And in the penalty shootout, sadly we didn't score. We almost scored on Linus Ullmark. Like, he had to reach back on a shot that just bounced around his pads and everything. That doesn't go in. They have a shot. Dubnyk almost had it, just squeezes through him, goes in. And that just is how the cookie crumbles. What I saw after the game was a little bit weird because a lot of people hammed on Victor Rask for his penalty shot, which incidentally was absolutely terrible, but I do think there's a good reason why he was on the penalty shootout. And Bustudro said, there is a reason he's there. I don't want to tell you the reason. There is a reason he's there. And it should honestly not be that difficult to figure out. They probably practiced that. He was probably one of the better ones to practice, hence why he gets a shot. And honestly, that happens for the best of the shooters. Frans Nielsen, for instance, who, of course, I'm Danish, I have to mention him, is one of the best at the shootout. He sometimes misses in a stupid way. He also sometimes loses control of the puck. That happens. This time it just happened in the shootout, and in his first shootout shot ever, and It sucks that happened for Victor Ask. I actually think he played a really nice game, and it sucks that that's how it's gonna be remembered, because I really liked his game. However, it was a bad shot, but it looked worse than it was. And yeah, I'm not gonna blame somebody for saying I'm gonna take a shot in the final third and have a chance to win the game. That takes a lot of guts to do, and actually say, yeah, coach, I'm willing to do that. I don't think you should get mad on the guys who actually dare to step up and say, I will take the shot, I'll take the blame if we lose, I'll take the blame if this shot doesn't go in, but also I can be a hero. Dares to go for glory. I will never hammer on those guys, because they have the guts to actually try and prove themselves, have the guts to actually try and win the game. And that's not everyone who is going to do that. Another player I want to go around really quickly in terms of the Buffalo and Chicago Blackhawks game is Jared Spurgeon. I think Jared Spurgeon played a solid few games. I think he got rewarded for it with 2 goals in the Buffalo game. I don't remember if he scored against the Blackhawks. I think he got an assist at least. But he played a really solid stretch for the last few games. And in this game, we just saw what Jared Spurgeon is. Fantastic in front of the net. So much hand-eye coordination to get the first goal after a fantastic pass by Ricard. In front, it bounces up. He just bats it out like a baseball player. And the second one, a great wraparound. That is Jared Spurgeon that we saw like 3 years ago, where he just goes to the net, where he just is a fantastic offensive defenseman, as well as actually also getting back. And he is that type of defenseman, that two-way defenseman who's just tenacious, although his size is basically the size of a midget when you compare it to a Zdeno Chara type of defenseman. However, I absolutely adore Jared Spurgeon. I have said that before, I will say it again. I adore Jared Spurgeon. But with the loss, when are we gonna say bye to him? You don't understand how much that actually hurt to say for me. But at this point of the season, when do we start looking for the future? Because I know we're in a wildcard place, but we lost 3 in a row after winning 3 in a row. But the stability doesn't seem to be there. Still seems to be like the most inconsistent team on the planet. However, with our injuries, the question is if this instability becomes bad. And if it does, should we not embrace it and become sellers at the deadline? Should we not look at who do we want to get rid of to maybe a playoff contender? Maybe an Eric Staal would make sense to give away to a cup-running team. I mentioned a few teams like Nashville could potentially want him. I know it don't sell to a divisional rival, and that's a key thing. But there is also Winnipeg who might want another center to play with Nikolai Ehlers potentially, and Patrick Laine, maybe like make that Stastny line. I could see Staal fit in there. You could have a team that might be in the Pacific, maybe in the Eastern Conference. There is a few options. And then there is Jared Spurgeon, because I know he has 1 more year left of his contract after this one, and I absolutely adore Jared Spurgeon, but we also need to think smart, because is he really going to be on the team when Kaprizov comes, when the future happens? I don't know if he is, and he's a solid defenseman, something that a lot of teams would want. Take a look at a guy like Hedman, who would love to have like a guy like Jared Spurgeon next to him. I could absolutely see him play in Tampa, just make that team stupidly good. Maybe Columbus would want him. Give us Panarin, please. But there is teams who would love to have him, and I will bet you they will give a lot of money to have him for a season or 2. And should we not embrace that and say, okay, this season isn't going to work, and we made out that next season is going to be any better? Maybe we should try and embrace that we can actually make a minor, and I say this, really minor rebuild. It's like a year rebuild. It's not like that 5-year where you just tank for picks. No, that's not what I'm suggesting here. However, what I'm suggesting is that you get a lot of picks so you can base a foundation for a player like Kaprizov. Do I think we're going to be in the playoff? Maybe. It's possible. Do I think it would be in the best interest for the Minnesota Wild to miss the playoff? Maybe. I love the playoff. I love being in the playoff. I love cheering for the Wild in the playoff. But even if we made the playoff, how realistic is it that we're actually going to win anything? Not really that realistic, is it? With Koivu out, with Dumba out. Those type of players is massive for the Minnesota Wild. And you saw last playoff as well. You don't go injury-free throughout a playoff. There will be casualties along the way. And let's say Parise goes again. Who scores the goal then? Grandin, Circa, they have not performed as well as I wanted them to. We don't have Nino Ryder anymore, so we can't see playoff Nino. Should we go for, like, is it then Pontus Harper Greenway? That seems too young. That seems a little bit too much pressure to put on them. I feel like if we make the playoff, we're in a bit of a pickle. I feel like it's time to embrace that maybe these injuries are gonna ruin our season. Have that as an excuse. Make a slight rebuild on a year scale, where next year we go and say we may not be a playoff team. However, the year after that, we're ready to compete for the cup. With Kirill Kaprizov coming into town, give him a team that is built around him offensively, and have Dumba as our stonewall defenseman pairing with Suter in the back end of the things. And who knows if Dubnyk is going to be there. And I wouldn't mind Dubnyk being there, but maybe that's the time where you build a partnership with him and Capo Kakkonen, who is going to be the next pairing of goalies. And probably eventually Capo Kakkonen is going to be the goalie of the future for the Minnesota Wild. But I don't know. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below on this. This is my question to you guys. What should the Minnesota Wild do? Should we be sellers? Should we go for the player? What do we do about the injuries? Tell me what you think about it in the comment section, and I'll try and respond and kind of interact if I can. So yeah, I'll see you guys next time, and please, I hope you enjoyed this.